For many students, grades came home over the past few weeks. So are you a parent who freaks out or gets anxious when your child brings home a report card that is less than all A's? Well, clinical psychologist Dr. Gary Hill is here to get to the bottom of why parents take on the stress of a child's underachievement. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
And let's talk about that word underachievement here, because I think it's important to point out, as you were saying and we were discussing, this is based more on the child's potential and not necessarily the parent's expectations. So why don't you explain that a little bit?
Yes, exactly. Simply put, the definition of underachievement is a kid underperforming based on their academic potential. Okay, so if a kid is capable of getting A's or B's and the kid is getting C's or D's or failing, obviously that's the strict definition of underachievement. One of the issues is the difference between a parent's expectations and the kid's actual potential. Now, very quickly, the only way to really completely accurately assess a kid's potential is to do some academic and achievement psychological testing. That determines a true kind of IQ and intellectual potential baseline. But the issue becomes underachievement turns into other things as well. For example, there's two different parenting styles that tend to inadvertently encourage underachievement in children. One is parents that are overprotective, okay? Because overprotective parents work hard and do too much for their kids, okay? So the marker there is, as a parent, if you're working harder than your kid is, say in school, then you're already in trouble as a parent, basically.
Okay.
So and what happens is because the kid feels overprotected, it develops a sense of anxiety. Anxious kids tend to underachieve. It's sort of like the bottom line is
like a fear of failure.
Like a fear of failure, exactly. So if we, for example, if a kid who is anxious and fearing failure, if they say to themselves, well, I can get an A or a B, but if I throw everything I have into getting an A or a B and I actually do fail, then I have to face the fact that I might be not as good as I thought. But if I put half my energy into it, then I can say, yeah, I got a C or a D, but I didn't try very hard. So it's like the lesser of two evils. It's like saving face.
Okay, so
overprotective parenting tends to promote that.
So once you've determined that you are having an issue with underachievement, how do you have that conversation with your child without making them feel inadequate? I mean, what would you recommend?
Right. Well, yeah. The problem is you've got to look at your own parenting style too. Overprotective parents have to back off taking too much care of their kids. They have to encourage the kid to be more independent, to take care of themselves. The other parenting style that also encourages inadvertently underachievement is micromanaging parents. Okay, parents that work too hard on driving their kids or spend every night with their kids in homework, check their homework. Kids get defiant against that. So underachievement can also be a form of defiance against parental authority. It's a way of, especially if they're a teenager, it's a way of carving out a sense of control and a sense of defiance. And kids, unlike adults, will sacrifice themselves in the process of proving control.
All right, so parents really need to be very careful.
They need to be very careful.
Navigating.
Look at their own parenting style,
like
basically,
yes,
right?
Look in the mirror. If people need to have more questions and need to get in contact with you, how can they find you?
They can find me at my website. My initials GRH Consult, the word consult, grhconsult.com.
All right, thank you so much, Dr.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me
this morning. Okay.